Good evening, Michael. How are you? Hi, Anthony.
Good evening, Ramala. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Michael. Thank you for taking over the meditation circle for me on Sundays.
Sure.
Thank you.
Bye. How are you, Donna?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good.
Who's that with you, Anthony?
It's my brother-in-law's little beagle puppy. She's about 6 months old. So I'm watching her while he's out of town, and she's like lightning in a bottle, runs around in circles. So I had to pick a room that was a little bit more conducive to being able to let her on the ground and not get into anything.
What's her name?
Her name is Mika.
Mishka?
Mika.
Mika. Hello, Mika. Hello, Mika.
She's adorable when she wants to lay down, and otherwise she is just 100% play. But she's a sweetheart. All right, you can run around.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so it's 4 o'clock, so let's get started.
7 o'clock in Raleigh.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so let's set our motivation. We're doing the practice today. You can rejoice that we are following the exact instructions of our teacher, Geshe Gelek. And by doing that, we gain just unbelievable amount of merit, especially if he's your guru or one of your gurus.
Good evening.
And of course, for all sentient beings to meet without resistance, understand, realize, practice without resistance, and recall without resistance the pure and complete teachings of Lamrim Tsongkhapa, this life and all our future lives. May we have lives full of compassion, great compassion, bodhicitta, and may we realize emptiness in and out of meditative equipoise and liberate ourselves in this very lifetime. And when we pass away from this life, we may be born on a lotus, especially in the Tushita realm. And there's the grounds actually in Tushita Yiga Jutsun that we'll probably mention in the text today. And this is where Maitreya is teaching with Lama Tsongkhapa and Lama Tishang on his right and left and right. So be born there and receive the teachings there also. So we're starting on page 130 in the hard copy book of The Essence of the Vast and Profound. It's the paragraph above the section titled Offering the Seven Limbs Together with the Mandala. But before we do that, I have to say I have to share the screen. So say the preliminary prayers. And this is very important because this chapter is about preliminary practice. So we'll say the Refuge and Bodhicitta prayer 3 times. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. And now the short mandala offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned to Mount Meru for continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is the Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. O holy and perfect pure Lama, from the clouds of compassion that form in the skies of your Dharmakaya wisdom, please release a rain of vast and profound dharma, precisely in accordance with the needs of those to be trained. Idam Guru Ratnamandalakam Niryatayami. Okay, I believe that is it for the preliminary prayers. And so now I'm going to start reading that section again. I mentioned, you should imagine that through offering the bathing ritual, the fields of merit give birth to the exalted wisdom of great bliss in their mental continuum, while drawing their bodies arrange the 5 syllables, Om, Hum, and so on, which is different from the way they are arranged in the consecration rituals. Here, the 5 places are sequentially established as 1, the crown, 2, the heart, 3 to 4, right and left shoulders, and 5, the navel. Although some people have a way of arranging the syllables that is different from this, this is how it is done in our tradition. Once you have completed the bathing ritual, adorn them with the signs and indications of a conqueror and offer them clothes and so forth. Whatever degree to which your mind is capable of imagining throughout this process is the degree to which you will accumulate an equivalent great store of merit. Alternatively, it is also suitable to offer the principal deity of each of the 6 lineages, food, and antique ornaments. It is also acceptable to imagine you invite each object as the basis of prostration and offering the 7 limbs together with the mandala. The 5th preliminary ritual is offering the 7 limbs together with the mandala. It is important to 1, make requests, 2, accumulate merit and purify negative karma, and 3, meditate in accordance with the previous request to generate the path in your mental continuum. Therefore, accumulation and purification are part of the 5th preliminary ritual as the 7 limbs. The request is part of the 6th preliminary ritual, and training in the visualizations is the actual practice. You must ripen your mental continuum to generate the good qualities of realization in your mental continuum. If your mental continuum is ripened, it will ripen your faults and expel them like pus. Ripening your good qualities is like fruit that is suitable to enjoy. Therefore, although the cause may be subtle, if you ripen your mental continuum well through supplications, accumulation, purification, and so forth, you will easily develop the good qualities of realization. Tsongkhapa also engaged in practices of accumulation and purification at Olga, and so forth, to instruct those of us who are his followers. Lamrim built Marpa, a 9-story tower. Naropa undertook 12 great hardships, and so on. When they also ripened their mental continuums, they developed realizations without difficulty. Tsongkhapa stated, when you listen, you don't retain the words. When you contemplate, you don't understand the meaning. When you meditate, you don't develop realizations in your mental continuum. When the mind has such little power, the oral instruction is to rely upon the power of the field of merit. If you sincerely apply yourself through accumulation, purification, and supplication to the special field consisting of the Guru, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, realizations will easily be generated. Geshe Sherab Gyatso stated, quote, if secondary to your contemplations, you sincerely apply yourself with perseverance to the accumulation of merit, purification of negative karma, and supplication of the deity and Guru, since composite phenomena do not remain static, you will generate realizations that you thought couldn't be developed in 100 years, unquote. With respect to accumulating merit and purifying negative karma, it is similar to cultivating a field with manure, water, and sunshine, while meditation is like sowing the seeds. The instruction manuals of previous Tibetans stated, if you don't train your mind, it is like drawing with water. If you don't safeguard your vows, it is like treasure without an owner. If you don't accumulate merit, it is like seeds without moisture. If you wonder just how you are supposed to go about doing this, the concise essence of accumulation purification is a practice of the 7 limbs. King Indrabhuti stated, if those wishing for swift enlightenment did not become enlightened through meditating on the view of the true aspectarians and the false aspectarians of the Chittamatra, they should train in the Dharma practice of the 7 limbs. The incomparable Dagpo Laje, that is, Gampopa, also stated, the 7 limbs are the principal virtuous practice, as well as there is no practice of Dharma apart from accumulation and purification. Through the purification of negative karma, one accumulates merit. Through accumulation of merit, one purifies negative karma. For that reason, accumulating something like 4 sets of 100,000 preliminary practices is not sufficient. You need both accumulation and purification until you are enlightened. A passage in Chandragirti's Guide to the Middle Way states, at that time, this person will see 100 Buddhas, which is in reference to those on the first bodhisattva ground and so forth, who engage in immeasurable practices of accumulation and purification with bodies numbering 100 up to innumerable. If they do that, and we with nothing more than a short life, 1 body and 2 hands, don't undertake them to the best of our ability, then we have closed the door on ourselves to the grounds and paths. It would be mistaken to think that once we cultivate mere knowledge of maintaining the mind's essence, mere knowledge of meditating on channels and winds, or mere understanding of the view of emptiness, we don't need accumulation and purification. Je Tsongkhapa stated, quote, but those great bodhisattvas who have attained control over material substances emanate many hundreds of thousands of bodies, and each of those emanated bodies also has limbs numbering 100, 1,000, and so on. And once they arrive in all the Pure Lands, they make offerings to the conquerors for numerous eons. We should not be content with just a few partial good qualities. For someone to say, I don't need to do such things to become enlightened, is just speaking knowledge with very little knowledge of the Dharma, unquote. With respect to the terms 7 limbs, this is exemplified by considering that if you emanate a carriage with 7 limbs, yet one piece is incomplete, you won't be able to travel on the path. Offering the 7 limbs together with the mandala has 7 parts. 1, the limb of prostration. 2, the limb of offering. 3, the limb of confession. 4, the limb of rejoicing. 5, the limb of requesting them to turn the wheel of Dharma. 6, the limb of making supplications not to pass into nirvana. 7, the limb of dedication. The limb of prostration. For that, the first of the 7 limbs is prostration. According to Sutra, the translation equivalent of hand is nama in Sanskrit, and means to perfectly bow, to engage with respect and close approach. To bow respectfully with our body is a physical prostration. To proclaim the good qualities of the 3 secrets of the field of merit with phrases such as, whoever has such great, is a verbal prostration. Faith and devotion of the mind is a mental prostration. There are 2 primary forms of prostration, a full-length prostration and a contracted prostration. Full-length prostrations are taught in the Array of Stocks Sutra, and were the personal practice of Panchen Naropa. Milarepa also made 3 full-length prostrations near the place of Lamrim and offered praises, saying, this is where lineage hold of Naropa's Dharma lives. The strict scriptural basis of the contracted prostrations is a purification and restoration ritual found in the Vinaya, which says prostrate. If you offer 1 prostration as well, you will obtain the merit to become Chakravartin kings equal to the number of atoms within the ground that is covered by your body, all the way down to the great and powerful golden base. Therefore, the size of your body is also significant. This full-length prostration is important for accumulation and purification, and it teaches the practice of abandonment and acceptance through the great number of atoms that are covered, the way of conjoining your palms, and so forth. You should properly learn the authentic sources for these as well, and if you don't understand them, although a few people say you are Lama or Geshe, you will be someone who doesn't even know the tradition of prostration. By joining your folded hands on the crown of your head, you establish the imprint to accomplish the major mark of an Ushnisha. By touching your eyebrows, you establish the imprint to attain the hair treasure. By touching your throat, you establish the imprint to attain the melodious speech of Brahma and a sound like a conch. And by touching your heart orb, You establish the imprint to accomplish the exalted omniscient wisdom. While touching your crown, imagine that you purify the negative karma and obscurations of your body, and that the blessings of an enlightened body enter you. Apply the same reasoning to your throat and heart with your speech and mind, and enlightened speech and mind. Although it is extremely good to collect 100,000 prostrations, it is important that they be done properly. At the beginning of prostrations, conjoin it with the mantra of transforming prostrations and make at least 3 prostrations. Other traditions use the phrase refuge prostrations and conjoin going for refuge with prostrations, which is also excellent. It is also permissible to recite any number of things such as going for refuge, Om Mani Padme Hum, and so forth. In particular, according to the personal practice of Lodrak Drupchen, the oral tradition of Jitsong Kappa states that the very best way to perform prostrations is to conjoin them with the confession of moral downfalls. I shall teach this way of making prostrations conjoined with the confession of moral downfalls later, during the confession section of this text, after which we should practice according to this explanation. The limb of offering. This is also quite important. If an ordinary person left a field empty and abandoned for just 1 year, it would cause them to feel regretful. The supreme field in which to sow all our seeds of merit is the Guru, the conquerors, and the Bodhisattvas. If we left this field empty, it would be cause for regret 100 or even 1,000 times greater than the previous example of an ordinary field. Jamgon Tsongkhapa stated, as it states in a sutra, for example, just like being unable to bear abandoning a fine field without sowing seeds in it, in a similar way, the only thing that will satisfy you is unceasingly sowing the seeds of virtue and excellence with the plow of faith in the holiest of all fields, which is a source of all happiness and excellence of this life and the next, through which it will be transformed into the most wondrous field. If you don't make use of the supreme field of merit, it will be an enormous cause of regret. The above quote, together with the narratives of Arya Gabamyati and the king Mandata, reveal that the Guru, the conquerors, and the Bodhisattvas are the field of accumulation because they bestow great stores of merit. Therefore, they are called field of merit. These sutras explain how a pleasing physical form comes from offering even a handful of flour to the Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, how limitless benefits come from pure moral discipline, and so on. Even in the amount of time it takes to drink a cup full of tea, we can visualize a field of merit and light a candle, a stick of essence, and so forth. Although a householder may not produce virtuous seeds equal to 1,000 packed loads, when he or she accumulates merit, purifies negative karma, and makes supplications, he still accumulates incomparable stores of merit. The supreme field has a special feature in that it is not possible that our roots of virtue from such acts as making offerings to it will not become a cause of unsurpassed complete enlightenment, even if our thoughts are only of this life and we have yet to embrace bodhicitta. There are extensive quotes from the White Lotus of Compassion Sutra, such as the example of the field of a householder, farmer, and so forth. We can further cite the example of preparing an excellent harvest in the spring by sowing seeds of wheat and barley, and then praying, may flowers not grow in the summer, and may the wheat and barley not bear fruit. Despite such prayers, unless the seeds are interrupted by other poisonous conditions, those prayers will not be able to prevent the emergence of the wheat and barley crops. For that reason, although offering actual substances, such as water offerings and close enjoyment offerings, are surpassable offerings, you should offer as much of them as you can with pure intention. Regarding the unsurpassed offerings, these are offering substances that are transformed from your roots of virtue with respect to the oral instructions of meditating on great compassion and generating bodhicitta. Day 8. The teaching of glorious protector Arya Nagarjuna in his letter to a friend states, quote, someone who commits non-virtue after being born a human is much more foolish than someone who cleans up vomit with a golden vessel adorned with jewels, unquote. We have this excellent physical form that is difficult to obtain. So while we have obtained such a physical form, vastly superior to other types of embodiments, we absolutely must extract an essence that fulfills our permanent objectives. For example, it would be extremely foolish to pour filth into a golden vessel. Likewise, while we have obtained a physical form such as this, to use it as a vessel for non-virtue would be 100 or 1,000 times more foolish than the former example. In order not to allow something like that to happen, contemplate, I must practice the essential instructions on the stages of the path to enlightenment for the sake of extracting the unique essence of this life. Offering the mandala is a special aspect of the offering the 7 limbs. Most essential point of the mandala is the visualization. Therefore, although you are offering one complete mandala, you obtain the merit of offering the 4 continents, Mount Meru, together with its surrounding environment, the 7 precious substances, and the sun and moon. The Sutra of the Mandala speaks of the benefits of offering the mandala when it states, by making a mandala of the Muni, you obtain the 6 transcendent perfections. The extensive explanation comes from the ritual for the mandala composed by Master Kampala. Just as Rontopa rebuked glorious Alden Gompala, so we should apply ourselves sincerely to making mandala offerings, whereby we will perceive numerous Buddha lands. The mandala also finds its source in the 50 verses of Guru devotion, which contains the concise meaning of Tantra and states, quote, with the mandala and flowers in the palms of your hands, respectfully honor your teacher, Guru, and prostrate with his feet on your head with supreme faith throughout the 3 times, unquote. The Sutra of the Mandala states, quote, present it together with cow urine, smearing it well is moral discipline, clearing it of worms, ants, and flies is patience, fully engaging in these actions is perseverance. The mind instantly combining these together as one is a clear image of concentration and wisdom, unquote. This is the way of combining all 6 perfections with the mandala. The Sutra of Golden Light states, when I became a Chakravartin king, at that time I sent forth the earth together with the ocean, replete with the 4 precious continents, and I offered it to the previous kings. It is permissible for the ascetic yogi who doesn't have even the very minimal substance of value and is without wealth, such as silver and copper, to obtain substances such as stones and flat wood. The offering heaps can also be grains or jewels. At the very least, it is permissible to offer clean substances such as crushed pebbles. If you are wealthy, the offering base should be whatever is best, such as gold, silver, and so forth. If it is, your merit will have great strength. The size is not fixed, but Kampala and others state that it should not be smaller than a full cubit. The oral constructions state that at the very least, it most definitely should not be smaller than our drinking cup. It is taught that the shape and color can be whatever you wish and are not absolutely fixed. The biggest it should be is the size of a rice bowl, so that you can carry it. It is inappropriate if you are thus unable to carry your mandala. When offering the mandala, hold it with both hands, while each hand also holds some heaps of grain, and wipe it outward as many times as possible, while imagining you are sweeping away your negative karma and obscurations. Wipe it inward 3 times and imagine you are receiving the blessings of the gurus, Buddhas, and bodhisattvas. The best would be to do this every time you offer mandala. If you are unable to do even that from time to time, you should wipe the mandala with cow products. The top of the mandala and substance arranged in heaps absolutely must be sprinkled with scented water. You should learn the way the 4 continents and Mount Meru were formed, as well as the 3 abodes and the designation of the world from the authentic instruction manuals on the mandala. The phrase, in short, means a very concise explanation. In the Kalachakra system, Mount Meru is round, but in Vasubandhu's treasury of Abhidharma, it is square, which is the system we are practicing at the moment. Below the realm of the 33 and downward is supported by the earth foundation. The yoke of the first golden mountain has a grade of 40,000 leagues. Next, going outward, there are sequential levels that are progressively lower. Videha is white and semicircular. Sambaling is the shape of a horse, is blue, and its broadside faces Mount Meru. The continent in the west is red and circular. The continent in the north is square and yellow. The subcontinents are the colors of the continents in their corresponding directions. The cut faces of the continents face outward. If you are primarily offering your body, enjoyments, and roots of virtue, then the east faces the recipients of the offering. To receive their blessings inward, the east faces you. Although it doesn't matter which way you do it, it is best if, when offering a mandala simply as an offering, the eastern direction of the mandala is facing towards the field of merit, and when requesting, it is offered in your direction. From the heaven without conflict up to bountiful virtue is supported by a wind and cloud foundation. Bountiful virtue does not have clouds, but is supported by wind. In harvest unsown, if you sow seeds at night, they bear fruit in the morning without the need for cultivation. Regarding the 7 precious possessions of the king, imagine that they are perfectly made from the gold of the Zambu River and so forth. In highest Yoga Tantra, the supreme horse is white, and in Yoga Tantra, he is blue. When you imagine the arrangements of the 8 goddesses, such as the goddess of beauty and so forth, their way of abiding in their blissful abodes and so forth should be according to Yoga Tantra. In the oral tradition, the sun and moon are to the right and left, the parasol is on the opposite side, and the victory banner is in your direction. When you recite the lines, the ground sprinkled with perfume and perceived as the Buddha land, in the first moment it is the impure worldly realm, and in the second instant it is transformed into a pure land, which is then offered. The term land indicates it is a land with special qualities that you imagine when offering it. It is also permissible to relate to the recipients of the offering and offer it to Brahma, Indra, and those who possess vows requesting their assistance. And although it is said that you imagine offering the mandala with the assistance of Brahma, it is the assertion of Ngulchu Dharmabhadra, father and sons, that it is also permissible to offer it as being produced from the shared karma of living beings in this world, as well as from a portion of your karma. Although this has been analyzed with reasoning, it would be best if you offer it as being produced from a portion of your own karma. The 37-heap mandala was the personal practice of Jomgun Chögyal Pagpa, 1235 to 1280, and has authentic sources in the sutras, tantras, and their commentaries. The 23 heaps was the tradition of Jetson Kappa. Although you offer 23 heaps, it has the complete meaning of the 37. It is extremely important to develop a solid understanding of the Lamrim on the basis of all of this. If you are accumulating a count of mandala offerings for each recitation of Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, together with the ground strewn, you arrange and offer a 7-heap mandala. If you are not keeping count, you can do it in any way you like, but should establish a clear visualization. Once you have offered many of them in this way, if you repeatedly receive good indications in your dreams, such as perceiving enjoyments as heaps of grain and so forth, this is a sign that your merit is increasing. The limb of confession. The third limb is confession. The act of confession is extremely important. Our mental continuums are like a king's treasury of negative karma and downfalls. So if you don't confess, even though we may have very little non-virtue, it will repeatedly double, so that it increases to a point where it becomes infinite, after which its ripened effect will propel us into the lower realms. Even the taking of one life, if you do not engage in confession, it will continuously double until after 18 days have passed. One act of killing will have increased to the point of being equivalent to taking the lives of 311,072 beings. You can apply this reasoning to all non-virtues. The mind cannot comprehend the negative karma we have created, whereas a small amount of virtue we have created can be counted on 10 counters attached to our rosary beads. Even while I am explaining it to people, and they kept count, they necessarily accumulate both virtue and negative karma. Although we think our negative karma is not that great, from this morning until the present moment, we have repeatedly accumulated the negative karma sufficient to be reborn in all 3 lower realms. In particular, for those of us who have taken ordination, once we wrap ourselves up in the 3 sets of robes and sit down for something like a session, although we may be sitting still, our thoughts will be nothing but non-virtuous. Most of what we say is lies. In particular, we violate the boundaries of the 3 vows, so that each day faults and downfalls pour down like rain. Our teacher said that although at the moment an upasaka may be protecting his precepts, in the future a fully ordained monk will not be able to protect the vows of a present-day upasaka. At a minimum, we try to get our cup filled with as much noodle soup as we can. We then slurp it down, smack our lips, and blow on it with hoo-hoo and foo-foo, whereby we accumulate at least 40 or 50 downfalls, and our deficit is greater than our profit. Our teacher also stated, quote, "For some, moral discipline is happiness. For some, moral discipline is suffering. Possessing moral discipline is happiness. Violating our moral discipline is suffering," unquote. If we don't protect our moral discipline, we will accordingly accumulate negative karma. There are many wicked people who have taken rebirth as demons, rakshas, and so forth because they accumulated enormous negative karma in their previous lives. Our negative karma is not like our current property, which we will no longer possess once it wears out. The quantity of our negative karma is like the treasure of the Chakravartin king that increases bit by bit. For as long as all our negative karmas exist, If we also don't engage in confession, we will definitely have to experience the result. For example, no matter how long a bird flies in the sky, eventually he must definitely descend upon his shadow. Quote, regarding the karma of embodied beings, it will not be wasted for even 100 eons. Once the circumstances are assembled and the time is right, it will ripen as the result, unquote. No matter how much negative karma you have, if you engage in confession and restraint, it can definitely be purified. Once it is purified, it is called the good quality of purified negative karma. Accordingly, there is absolutely no possibility that your negative karma will not be purified once it is confessed. Nagarjuna's letter of a friend states, quote, whoever was once non-conscientious and later becomes endowed with consciousness is beautiful like a moon freed from clouds, just like Nanda, Angulimala, Dashaka, and Udayana. According to oral discipline, Angulimala had a rosary made of the fingers of people he had killed, but through making extremely powerful confession and restraint, he purified the negative karma of chopping off people's fingers and became an arhat. Devadatta gave Prince Ajatashatru, the son of King Bimbisara, extremely bad counsel by advising him, once we have killed both the Buddha and the king, I shall act as Buddha and you act as the king. However, Devadatta was unable to kill the Buddha. Ajatashatru killed King Bimbisara, who was his own father, whereby Bimbisara attained the result of a never returner, which eventually resulted in Ajatashatru also attaining the result of a never returner. Because of the great force of the action of immediate retribution of killing his father, Ajatashatru engaged in extremely powerful confession and restraint, whereby he attained the state of a stream enter. Udayana, also called Swaka, committed an action of immediate retribution by killing his mother. However, he later developed faith in the Buddha, because of the Dharma, engaged in confession, and through meditating on the path was liberated from the effects of his negative karma and attained the fruit of the stages of the path. Likewise, we should engage in proper confession and restraint, and if we do, we will definitely purify these negativities that we have also spent our entire lives with. If we continuously apply extremely powerful confession over a long period of time and with great force, we will be able to purify all the karma that we would have had to definitely experience otherwise, and that would have caused us to go to the hell without respite in our next life. These days, non-virtuous people seem to have long lives, great strength, successful activities, and so on, whereby they think that there is no such thing as actions and their effects. However, this is not the case. Regarding people engaged in virtue, yet receive bad omens, this is a definite sign that their extreme virtue is ripening their negative karma that will result in experiencing lower realms in a later life. This is a sign that once it is ripened in this life, they will go to the Pure Lands in their next life. When Atisha was at the point of passing away, Dontopa requested, Atisha, please care for me again in your next life, whereby Atisha replied, I am going to Tushita. You should also pray to be reborn into Tushita. You will become ill with leprosy at the end of your life. However, you will be reborn in Tushita, so you and I will not be apart. Accordingly, Dontopa accepted leprosy at the end of his life, after which he passed away and went to Yigachursen and Tushita. The Diamond Cutter Sutra from the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra states, quote, for the Subhuti, the sons of the lineage or daughters of the lineage who accept the words of this sutra and retain it, grasp it, read it, and fully comprehend it, will become tormented. They will be extremely tormented. What is the reason for this Subhuti? For that, Subhuti, those living beings have purified all the non-virtues from their previous lives that would have resulted in rebirth in the lower realms, and they are tormented in this life. Through this, all of the non-virtues from their previous lives that would have resulted in rebirth in the lower realms is purified, and they become cleansed. They will also attain the enlightenment of Buddha. Stop! No! Maui, no! Maui, no!
Geshe Gelek is here.
Please have a seat. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah, namaste. Good evening.
Geshe.
Anybody who's watching on YouTube, too, also good evening. Welcome back to class. How many page?
16 pages.
Oh, there's progress. Anything to discuss?
There are no questions, Geshe.
Oh, so that's good news. So please continue reading. Continuously, please
So
read.
we'll continue with page 147. When non-virtuous beings have long lives and great success in this life, it is a sign that they are exhausting all the results of their virtue and that after death they will transmigrate to the boundless lower realms. You should continue with your confession for months or years until you receive repeated indications that your confession has purified the negative karma that you have accumulated since beginning of time, according to dream signs explained in the Chunda Dharani scripture. After that, in this life, you'll continue to accumulate new negative karma in general. In particular, you will accumulate negative karma in this very day. Therefore, it is important that you confess that negative karma before you go to bed. And since you will accumulate negative karma and downfalls tonight, you should confess tonight's negative karma in the morning so that you don't encounter any negative karma and downfalls for a 24-hour period. By doing this every day, if you are not defiled by negative karma and downfalls, that will be enough for you to transfer your consciousness to a pure land. The sutra also states, not heard by the ears and not seen before the eyes, as well as protecting the teachings, this person will go to a higher rebirth. The fact that we engage in all sorts of negative actions without restraint, even in the presence of our gurus, is the fault of not having contemplated actions and their effects. Previously, upon seeing the negative karma accumulated by the Tibetans, J. Atisha stated, old man, it is not right to be so brazen. It is not right to be so brazen. Cause and effect is subtle. Cause and effect is profound. Also, when Atisha would incur some minor infraction while traveling, he would immediately engage in confession and restraint. Thus, it is important to sincerely apply ourselves to confession and restraint. In addition to being utterly unsoiled by defeats down to the remainders, not encountering them for a 24-hour period is a measure of having completely pure moral discipline of the ordained. In general, although the Vinaya states that there are 3 ways of rectifying them, according to Tsetchok Ling Yongjin Pandita, Kachen Yeshe Gyaltsam, in this day and age, the people who can carry them out in that way are rare. Therefore, we should make confession each and every day. Although you may be a householder, you should sincerely apply the methods of confessing your negative karma.
Geshe, there is a question now. The question is, where would I find more on the merit field visualization? What is the proper visualization?
Lamrim. Lama talk about Lamrim, or like liberation palm of your hand, or Lama talk about great Lamrim. Today, Lama will continue.
To properly perform confession, you need the 4 opponent powers in their entirety. The first is the power of reliance, for which numerous ways are taught. However, in our tradition, we go for refuge and generate bodhicitta in a similar way to how we lift ourselves up from negative karma, that is, in dependence upon the object in relation to which we establish it. There are also certain criteria for why we use these 2 types of power of reliance. Since whatever negative karma we accumulate is accumulated in relation to either the objects of refuge or living beings. Hence, we go for refuge for the sake of purifying the negative karma created in dependence upon the 3 jewels and generate bodhicitta in relation to living beings. All the vows of mantra and so forth require both going for refuge and generating bodhicitta. With respect to the power of destruction, develop extremely powerful regret for your previously accumulated negative karma and downfalls, as if you had ingested poison, as already covered. J. Milarepo also stated, although you may confess your negative karma, if your thoughts...
When you hear the word like previous negative karma, there's not just negative karma. Of course, you also created a lot of positive karma too. Otherwise, you will not have this human body. So don't just think, oh, previous, or don't just think, oh, all negative. No, that's wrong. But there's a lot of neutral karma. There's, of course, there's, not every action will create is positive. That's unfair to say. That's not fair to say. There are mixed karma, positive, negative, neutrals. This is not entirely negative. Okay, so
Although you may confess your negative karma, if your thoughts are pure and if you apply regret, it will be purified. While practicing the power of turning away from faults, you may consider that there are certain things, such as killing, that you are able to completely forsake from the root by utterly abandoning them, according to your guru's oral advice. Yet, even for those that you can't completely abandon, you should rely upon a mind determined to abandon them bit by bit for a month or a day. There are still other...
I think not knowing how to purify. So then you become the victim of your own negative karma. So that's not good. So like, that if you don't purify, then you feel overwhelmed. So then, you feel, bad. So, the negative karma does not have qualities, generally speaking, but it has only one quality. That quality is like can be purified. That any negative form of action can be purified. You can purify. You don't have to get drowned with your negative actions. You don't need to drown with your guilt. So even the word guilt is not being used. We use regret. Regretting towards something negative is positive. Regretting towards something positive, that's negative. Regret can be both positive and negative. So just regretting, it purifies. When you regret, it purifies. It purifies. Then when you do the purification practice, it's not just you are thinking about what went wrong. You are thinking about what went wrong out of positive mindset. With kind of like excitement. It's not like kind of like, depressed. You are thinking about what went wrong out of kind of excitement. What are you going to do? You are going to probably purify them. So you think about something negative out of positive mindset. So then you rely on the 4 powers or apply the 4 powers. So then you purify them. At the end, instead of feeling bad, you feel good. And you feel like you accomplished something. You feel like you purify something. Yeah, karma can be purified. Can be purified. So we don't need to sit around with our negative feeling. Our negative feeling can be purified. We don't need to sit around with negative feeling or feeling bad or something. Karma can be purified. So like the pile of hair can be burned by one spark. Understand? You don't have to have piles of spark to burn piles of like hair. One spark can burn all the fire, like has hair, turn into ashes. Similarly, meditating on shunyata, meditating on bodhicitta, is like spark, can be burned like piles of hair, which is refers to negative actions, negative karma, can be purified. So then just imagine doing one full length prostrations, every atom that covered by your body becomes the perfect cause for human rebirth. Can you imagine that? Every atom that covered by body becomes the perfect cause for human rebirth. Marriage is not that difficult to create. We just need to motivate. Of course, sometimes you kind of feel kind of lazy, so that, as I mentioned before, this is the best opportunity we got. So we must use. Don't just say, oh, there's so much negative karma to people. Yeah, spark. You just need one spark. Meditate on shunyata, reading about shunyata, thinking about shunyata, then thinking deep about shunyata. Oh, just forget about the negative karma. It also like pieces, the samsara, like throwing a piece of glass on the floor. It's kind of samsara will be shattered by your meditation on emptiness or shunyata. So there's many ways to purify, We don't need to think with our negative action. Our negative action can be purified. So when you do the purification practice, of course, that you set up the motivation, positive motivation, then kind of with excitement, so that you are about to purify. Oh, someone who killed 999 human beings. Why you think that you have no chance to purify? Why you think you can purify? Why not? Someone who killed 999 human beings has a chance to liberate himself in this very life. Why we think that we have no chance to purify? Oh, we need to motivate ourselves. We need to motivate ourselves. Anguli Mala, the Buddha's lifetime. Angul is like thumb. Mala is rosary. Each time when he kill person, he wear thumbs in his. Probably have a lot of a lot of interest to do some form of spiritual practice, but met the wrong teacher. So then went into the wrong path. So then ended up killing 999 people. In the very end, met Shakyamuni Buddha, taught the right path. So then purify all this negative karma. Killing human is like a heavy karma. It's kind of heavy karma. Because without this human body, you can't achieve enlightenment in the first place. So destroying that, there's heavy karma. So destroying the 999 of them, that very person, Anguli Mala, the name of the person, has a chance to purify. Then why we think that we have no chance to purify? That is ignorance. Is that mindset is not helping you, that mindset is not helping you to achieve something that you could achieve, but that very mindset kind of like blocking the path to you to be liberated. So any form of spiritual practice, whether there's level as a purification practice or not, so it purifies. Any form of spiritual practice, any form of like reciting mantra, refuge prayer, bodhicitta prayer, any form of like spiritual practice that you do, so reading sutras, listening teachings, reading, purifies. Okay, it purifies. So person who does not know how to purify, so they may feel their negative karma is like heavier because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with the negative actions. They don't know how to purify them. So then they may feel, oh, that's part of my, I'm bad. I'm just bad. So I have no chance. I'm like I'm a bad person. So where you got that idea in the first place? So, it has initially we are all bad. No matter what you do, you are still bad. No good. There's ignorance. There's pure ignorance. Pure ignorance. There's no wisdom at all. There's pure ignorance. Somebody become enlightened. It's not like right from the beginning, someone's all enlightened. Doesn't make sense. Somebody like us become enlightened or have all kind of disturbing thought, like because of Buddha nature, it is possible. It's very possible that I, you, all of us could reach enlightenment. Why not? We have all the conditions that we need. We all have that. We have all the right conditions that we need. We all have that conditions. Why not? Why not we can get closer to enlightenment? Why not we can get, even though we can't reach like liberation or enlightenment this life, why can't we can get closer to that? Why not? So if you don't know how to purify, then it's like it's like a ball of aluminum. Your negative action become like ball of aluminum. So when you throw that in the water, it will sink. If you know how to purify, when you make this piece of aluminum, if you make it flat, completely flat, it will not sink. Then you are not going to sink. We don't have to sink. We don't have to feel down. We don't need to feel low. We don't need to look down to ourselves. No, because these things can be purified. Rely on 4 powers. Among those 4 powers, most important one is regret. I regret. If you rejoice, then that's not good. If you rejoice doing something bad, then it's not good. We should not rejoice. Why? Because it does not bring any happiness. It does not make your life easier. It makes your life more difficult. So therefore, we should not rejoice something we did. Something wrong, we should not rejoice. No, we should always regret. The minute you regret, it purifies. Or at least it stops, karma to multiply. That's what it says in the text, karma multiply. I'm not sure it really literally multiply or not, but the feeling gets heavier and heavier. Longer you stall, you can pretend it's not there, but it is no. That's not going to help. We have to admit what went wrong. We have to admit sincerely, genuinely. Then after that, we regret. We don't need to learn how to regret. You know, I know, we all know how to regret. It's not that difficult. We just need to regret, strong regret. In the text, it says 3 people, 3 friends, all of them consume poison. One is dead, another one is very sick. Somehow that you survive. Then how much regret you have consuming that poison? Like strong regret, not just regret, very strong regret. Sake of your own benefit, sake of your own happiness. See, we need to see light, not always darkness in our life. Don't say there's no light, there is light. That light can be shine. Don't say there's no light, no, there's total dark. No, that's not true, that's ignorance. So among those 4 parts, regret. No, we must regret. We should not rejoice. No, we must regret that. Stop the feeling behind the action, negative feeling behind the action. It will stop at least to multiply, or maybe it will stop to become heavier if you regret. Sincerely admit and take full responsibility. So then purify. Strong regret. If you don't know a whole lot of practice, just say Mani Mantra or Mani Pemyo. Only 6 syllable mantra, so easy to say. Or say Om Mani Padme Hum, it will purify. Then if you know the Vajrasattva mantra, then say Vajrasattva mantra, 100 syllable. Then if not, the short one. Any form of mantra will purify. So then, 35 Buddha practice, just say, if you cannot do physically, if you cannot do physical prostration, just put your hand together and just say the name of the 35 Buddha. So you talk about this, just this life, just this life. Physical prostration, verbal prostration, mental prostrations. There's 3 different types of prostrations. When you put your hand together, we say each Buddha's name, the first Buddhas purify 10,000 eons of negative karma. Now you see eons. This life is not about eons, it's just like 100 years. Worry about that. Just saying the one Buddha's name purifies eons of negative karma. Can you imagine that? How hard it is to say? No, it's not hard. It's a piece of cake. It's not that easy. It's not that difficult. It's easy to say. Easy to say. Easy to say. How hard to say Mani Mantra? So easy. How long it takes? Seconds. Om Mani Padme Hum. One mantra is done. It won't take that long. How many mantras you can do? 10 minutes. If you just dedicate your 10 minutes, just dedicate your 10 minutes. Then sincerely take responsibility what went wrong and admit and think about the 4 power. Right after that, recite 10 good minutes, sit down, say the Mani Mantra, will purify. It's not that difficult. Purification is not that difficult at all. So we just need to motivate. That's all. So we don't need to feel low. We don't need to feel down. Can be purified. Easy to purify. Very, very, very easy to purify. Very easy to purify. Otherwise, thinking about something negative, out of negative mindset, doing nothing, of course you will feel bad. Everybody will feel bad, not just you. Everybody thinking about something negative, out of negative mindset, doing nothing, of course you will feel bad. What is the best way? Thinking something negative, out of positive mindset, then do something. Then instead of feeling bad, you will feel good. That's the benefit of purification practice. At the end, instead of feeling bad, you feel good. That goodness is the result of negative karma, believe it or not. Not the direct result, because you clean, you purify. If there's nothing to purify, you are not going to purify. Because there's something to purify, you purify. Then after that, you feel good instead of you feel bad. So that's the beautiful of the purification practice. Purification practice. Meditation. Do I need to say something? No, you don't need to say something. You can just meditate on bodhicitta. You don't need to say something. You don't need to read something. You can just meditate on bodhicitta. You can just meditate on shunyata. Purifies. There's so many different methods. Or cleaning the cleaning around the stupa purifies. Going around the stupa purifies. Cleaning your altar, your holy altar on your holy object on your altar purifies. Building stupa, building holy object, or writing the scriptures, writing sutras, or reading purifies. All of that purifies. All this all become antidote. It purifies. So then regret. So then some negative karma is easier to purify than another. Some of them become so familiar, harder to stop. So in that case, purify, then think from deep down from your heart, next second or next minute, I'm not going to do that, next minute. See if you can do, If you can do 1 minute, logically it doesn't make sense. Why not we can do 2 minutes? If you cannot do even 1 minute. Is it impossible? No. If you can stop 1 minute, you can stop 2 minutes. You can stop forever. Logically, that's how the logical doesn't make sense. So including Geshe Gelek, myself, all my friends here, very important to never ever rejoice your negative actions. Always regret. Why is so important to regret? It purifies. Your feeling get weaker. Okay? Then don't just think all the previous life or just negative karma. You are not going to have this body. First of all, that proves wrong, that your idea is wrong. That's mixed karma, positive karma, negative karma, neutral karma. So, because we want to get enlightened, because we want to be liberated, so that's why we don't keep any negative karma. We just want to purify all of them much as possible, all of them much as possible. So because you have the perfect conditions, perfect body, capable to learn, read, this is the best chance that you got, that you can purify. So must use this chance to purify as much as possible every day. Good 10 minutes, good 5 minutes, good 15 minutes, doesn't have to be sit down 24 hours. You can do good 5 minutes, Then it's not good to say, I don't have 5 minutes. When you are going to find time? When? You are not finding any time now. When you are going to find time? No, impossible. If you can find 10 good minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes every day, you are never going to find time. So this is important. It's important. Every day, motivate ourselves. Every day, motivate. So then end of the day, then you review your day. Before you fall asleep, if you do something, then something to rejoice, rather than always something to feel bad, then it's not good. No, that you always, every day you have something to rejoice. Oh, so that's good. So then the rejoice could multiply. Okay. So this purification practices, I think, is very important. Otherwise, especially in the West, why people, so many people feel like hating themselves, or then feeling very like experiencing low self-esteem, so then feeling down or depressions. My personal point of view, I think, is lack of purification practice. Not knowing how to purify them, then you can, you cannot, I cannot stop, you cannot stop the mind, you can't stop, Energy, you cannot stop energy and mind. Energy and the mind, you cannot stop at all because they are there together all the time. Life. And that comes with energy. So that's only lasts for this life. When this life finishes, then they're separate. It's not together forever. Life and its energy, is for this very much heavily depend on this body. You cannot stop that before you die. So that means, what I mean is like you can't think, mind will think. All kinds of things, positive things, negative things, if your mind is thinking more negative things, this is not good, it's not good. Then this precious human life is completely wasted, for no good reason. You just, every single day you're wasting your life. Why? Because you're just thinking negative, nothing good to think about. Even though you can do something positive, but somehow that not having a faith in yourself, or maybe like how is yeah, probably need to think very carefully. Every day need to think very carefully, very carefully. Think about something that makes you happy. Think about something, do something that makes you happy. Think about something that makes you happy. Do something that makes you happy. So that is exactly how to take essence, the most out of this precious human life. Do something that makes you happy. Think something that makes you happy. Don't do something that makes you unhappy. Don't think something that makes you unhappy. If you do ask yourself question, why? This is the best chance that we all got, maybe only chance we got to as I said, at least start. Not too much worry about when and how, when I'm going to enlighten. Just start the journey. That's something you can do. So it's important, okay? So there's purification practice. The Hamula reading the section of the purification practice. So it's important to purify. When you're doing the dishes, cleaning your house, think it's not just dish. Just think, this is my anger, this is my jealousy, this is my pride, this is my ignorance. So then cleaning dishes becomes the part of practice, spiritual practice. There's something that you have to do every day, or maybe putting in the dishwasher, doesn't matter. Think about all this stain in your mind, you're putting them into, piling them up into the dishwasher, then cleaning them. Then it becomes part of the practice. When you're welcoming in your house, don't think it's not just dust, it's the dust of my attachment, my anger, my jealousy, my pride, my ignorance. Then it become part of your practice, part of practice, Just need to motivate, that's all. We just need to motivate, that's all. You just need to motivate, sake of your own benefit, sake of your own well-being or goodness, sake of your own benefit. If you can't do for all other living beings, just do it for yourself. At least help yourself. If you can't help each and every breathing living being on this planet, if you can't think about all of their well-being, just think of your well-being. Just think of your well-being. So that's important. So then purification practice is very important part of the mental well-being. It's the critical part of the mental well-being. It's the critical part of the mental well-being. It's the critical part of the mental cleansing, mind cleansing is critical part of that. Okay? So then you try, we all try. There's something we can do, we can try. Okay, so yeah, today, cleaning around the holy object, building a holy object, or reading money mantra, writing, reading, reciting, painting, same thing, holy object. Meditating on bodhicitta. The Lamrim teaching has clear instructions how to meditate on bodhicitta. It's not like there's no instructions at all, so then it might be difficult. No, there's instructions, very clear instructions how to meditate on bodhicitta. Just review them, so then meditate on shunyata, reciting sutra, mantra, all of that. Purification. So this is a critical part of mental well-being. Purification practices critical part of the mental well-being. Otherwise, we will feel bad. Yeah, because mind will not stop thinking about all kinds of things. If there's something wrong, mind will think about that. If there's something good, mind will think about that. And more, unfortunately, mind will think more on negative things than positive things. So, that we cannot stop. We can stop that, but we can purify. Or such and such event, it used to hurt so much when I remember that, recall that. It's caused me so much pain. Now, better. Same recollections, less pain, much better, much lighter. Oh, so much anger towards that person. The minute I think about that person, I get so angry. Now, better, much better. At least you are not getting that much angry, but a little bit, much better. Eventually, it doesn't bother us. Now it doesn't bother us. Now maybe I can think, now I can maybe wish something good for that person. Possible, very possible. It is possible. Praying for enemy, very possible. It is possible. If you look at the whole situation from the broader picture, not just narrow down, if you look at from the broader picture, it's very possible. Forgiveness, very genuine, sincere forgiveness, possible. It's not just possible, very possible. Might take time, yeah, it will take time, slow, but it is possible. Who did that? You did that. With the help from spiritual practice or meditations, then you figure it out how to do. Sake of your own benefit. So now, next time when you hear the name of that person, it doesn't bother. Or maybe there will be some time you are thinking, thinking to wish something positive for that person. Who is doing that? You are the one who is doing it. How that happened? It took some time. It did happen some time. So that's called purification practice, not purification. Believing, having unshakable faith into purification practice for your mental well-being. So then now instead of feeling bad, you feel good. Feel good. So sorry, so much been said, but the purification practice is critical part of critical process of mental well-being. So we should remember that and just need to motivate. That's all. We just need to motivate. That's all. Every day just need to motivate. That's all. Okay? Oh, yeah, Alhamdulillah. So then the Alhamdulillah will read up. There's four power. Four power. The Alhamdulillah will read. Oh, four power. So then if you're interested about the purification practice, that's very good for you. You must learn. It's not that you don't remember, you don't need to remember all the word. Just get the idea. What are the four powers? Just get the idea. You don't need to remember exact word. Just get idea. You don't need to remember every single word, how the Shunyata has been explained. Just remember the idea. Just remember the idea. Okay, so. So just try to understand the idea of four power, what the four power means. Just get the idea. Okay, so so then if you're interested, you can read the four power in the liberation palm of your hand. Then there's a lot of people at the center, they know four power, you can talk to them. Okay. Oh yeah. Then Alhamdulillah, continue, please.
There are still other oral instructions on how to turn away from faults. With respect to the power of applying the antidote, this is related to the previous story about poison and is like relying upon milk churned into butter or a medicine to induce vomiting. Confession is the power of applying the antidote as the model of engaging in virtue for the sake of purifying negative karma. There are 6 types of this power taught in Shantideva's compendium of trainings.
By the way, this is not beer, this is just sparkling water. It looks like beer, but it's not beer, it's sparkling water.
The 100-syllable mantra of Vajrasattva is classified as relying upon a supplication. It is also taught that by reciting 80,000 of each mantra, such as Ushnisha Vijaya, Immaculate Ushnisha, Migtrupa, Kunrig, or Padma Ushnisha, you can purify all your negative karma so that none remains.
Every mantra, don't need to worry if I don't know this mantra, that mantra. Every mantra purifies. Every mantra purifies. Okay. Whatever mantra you know, say that with devotion purifies. Yeah.
In our own tradition, according to the biography of Jetsun Kappa, the very best thing is to recite the Confession of Moral Downfalls with a mind of regret and a mind of restraint, and combine it with prostrations. Lodrok Namkha Gyaltsen did the same thing and had a direct vision of 35 Sugatas, and his realizations increase. Setchok Ling Yongzin Pandita told Drabchog Losang Nyamgyal that if you request that the great force of whatever virtue you accomplish will serve to purify your negative karma, and combine this with the confession of moral downfalls, this is the supreme way to make prostrations. During the confession of moral downfalls, there are nets of pearls and hanging pendants at the corners of the elephant thrones for the assembly of deities of this field of merit, which are set in rows with 4 tusked elephants of Brahma supporting the thrones. Although it is sufficient to have the principal teacher on a lion throne, you should change it to an elephant throne. I will explain the teachings of my guru concerning the system of recitation of the oral tradition. Once you repeat one section of the 35 names, you repeat it several times, which counts as 1 repetition. In a situation where you are alone, recite their names one by one while recalling the benefits of their names, which counts as 1 accumulation. This strikes the essential point. You keep collecting repetitions until signs arise that you have purified your negative karma. Confess individually all the negative karma and downfalls caused by the three.
Sign has been explained into Lamrim teachings, I believe. You know, like wearing a new clothes, seeing a sunrise, taking shower, fighting with something that you're winning, seeing like your own teacher or seeing like Sangha members in dream. So there's many signs. Okay, so if you wonder, no? And then,
Confess individually all the negative karma and downfalls caused by the three poisons, whatever negative karma you have incurred through the three doors of body, speech, and mind, and that which you have caused others to engage in or have rejoiced in. The term individually implies that we are also confessing with the body those negative actions of the body. Alternatively, confessing your negative karma is similar to purifying them through confession in your monk's quarters. With respect to the downfalls being one nature with negative karma, in the pratimoksha, you confess them through the restoration and purification ritual in the presence of your abbot, master, and sangha. Bodhisattva vows are confessed in the presence of the Guru, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas. In mantra, confessing them to the Guru and assembly of mandala deities is indicated.
the mantra means Vajrayana path. They should not just say mantra, so probably Vajrayana path.
Vajrayana path.
It mainly refers to tantric vows.
Confessing them to the Guru and assembly of mandala deities is indicated by the phrase individually. Another meaning of confess them individually is also to say, I repeatedly confess them. At the conclusion, you should think that they are purified so that none remains and seal the thought with unobservability. It is a wrong view to have doubts about whether or not your negative karma are purified and to lack confidence in the opponent power. Therefore, it is inappropriate to think that they are not purified. Because the teacher said that we have negative karma and that it can be purified by confession, both statements are equally pure.
Yeah, so it's almost like that you clean the dishes, then you don't believe it's clean. So then that's like, I said, that is the problem. So it is clean, but you don't think it's clean. So then there's something is not correct, you know. So maybe you may end up cleaning the clean plate again and again, but there's really nothing to clean. So then, you know, having a doubt. So anyway, so it purifies. Whether you believe or not, it purifies. But, you know, having unshakable faith into the purification practice, that greatly helps. Okay.
The limb of rejoicing. The fourth limb is rejoicing. Shantideva's Compendium of Training states, calculating the measurements and weight of the 3,000 worlds and Mount Meru, then rejoicing in that is not what it means to rejoice. Rinpoche Tsongkhapa also declared, rejoicing is said to be the supreme way to assemble a great wave of merit with little effort.
Actually, it's like rejoicing is the direct antidote for jealousy. Direct antidote for jealousy. If you rejoice, then you more like you are not going to get jealous. Direct antidote for jealousy, for the sake of knowledge. As I said, we just need to motivate. That's all. It's not there's lack of practice. There's tons of practice out there. We just need to motivate. That's all. Not all of them is hard to do. A lot of them very easy to do. Rejoice, for example. Beba chungi labjian so diba gela jesu yira chotus beba chungi with little effort. Who said Lama Tsongkhapa said? How many years ago? 650 years ago. More than 650 years ago. One of the Tibetan master, founder of the Gelek tradition, the very tradition that I follow, So Lama Tsongkhapa says, Beba chungu. Beba means effort, chungu means little. Beba chungu. Labje means vast. So merit. Gela Jesuira Choto songs rejoicing other people's positive deed. Or you could say merit. So then you create so much merit. As I said, creating merit is not that difficult at all. It's easy. You just relax on your sofa, have a coffee, think, or maybe you see something in newspaper, somebody did something good, just rejoice. You get tons of merit. Rejoice every week. The garbage truck comes, clean all your garbage, rejoice. You get merit. All the people who's donating food to the food bank, rejoice. You get merit. All the people who volunteer Meals on Wheels, rejoice, you get merit. All the people day and night studying Buddha Dharma in my monastery, Nepal, India, Tibet, rejoice, you get merit. Where I need to go to rejoice, you can just sit with your comfortable sofa with the coffee or tea. Doesn't take that much, you just rejoice, that's all. You see somebody post something good on the Facebook, and now everybody probably look at the Facebook, maybe more than they recite the mantra. So you see something good, so they rejoice. So you rejoice your own good things. Rejoice that you are reciting mantra, rejoice that. You can rejoice your own 3-time marriage, positive things you did in the past, long time ago, rejoice that. But positive thing you are doing now, positive thing you are thinking to do in the future, helping your parents, siblings, neighbors. You may have idea, I'm going to do this, do that. Rejoice. 3-time marriage created by you, or rejoice. 3-time marriage created by other people, rejoice. Rejoice is the best practice. With little effort, creating vast amount of merit. Just rejoice. So then, first of all, you don't get jealous. So rejoice. Yeah. Many different ways to feel good. Many different ways. We just need to motivate, that's all. Need to learn and motivate, that's all. Yes.
Yes, Geshe, a question just came up in chat. And what do we do when we see so many horrible things now going on in the world? Do we not see and ignore them, or what? Say prayers for that, or what?
We are, believe or not, we are related. Not related, but there's connections. Whether that's unfortunate, so many, that's unfortunate. So many bad things happening all over the world. So that's why every Sunday I ask all the people who come to the class, I ask them to pray for each and every living beings. That's our moral responsibility as a Mahayana Buddhist practitioner. That's our moral responsibility, and also part of the commitment that you dedicate, that you once you took the Bodhisattva vow, that you deliberately, voluntarily make some kind of commitment to dedicate this life for the benefit of other sentient beings. So praying is out of questions. We must pray. We must pray every day. So that's why every Sunday I request. Some Sunday I kind of forget, but I myself every day trying, dedicated my practice, whatever practice I do, I dedicate it for the well-being of all sentient beings. So then, practically, that's what we can do. For some of you already been in Nepal or India. It's not just one, there's so many of them. So that you feel overwhelmed, there's really like so many of them. So you do what you can do. So yeah, you wish that you could help all of them, but it's impossible. You don't have resources to do that. So it's not just, so you do what you can do. So then every day you pray that nobody creates negative karma. So that nobody has to experience any result of negative karma. So you wish every single person create most positive karma than negative karma. So that a lot of people wish for perfect world. There's not going to be perfect world, but there's like because of the actions and the mind. Because of action and mind, there's not going to be perfect world, even though we very much wish to see. But there has been problems. There will be problems. There is going to be problems, and the world is not going to be free from problems unless everybody enlightened or liberated. So that's the truth. That's the fact. So, as a minor practitioner, you can't ignore them. You cannot ignore. This against Bodhisattva vow. So there's your moral responsibility. At least pray, include them in your prayer, daily prayer. You can ignore them. So, but as I said, they practically, you have been to those places. So some of you that have been there, so that you know what I'm talking about. Physically, there's so much you can do. So if you are in that kind of place, then you do what you can do. So, and without asking so much question, maybe you did help someone here, someone else need help. Why you don't have that? Maybe it's due to karma. So that person's been there and you're there, so you help. There's so much. It's like you feel like overwhelmed. But becoming bodhisattva doesn't mean the world is going to be free of problem. That's for sure. Becoming enlightened world is not going to be free of problem. Because of mind and actions. Because of that. So action is not just positive. There's all kinds of actions, and so it's hard. So that's the question.
Yes, Geshe, I think you got the question.
Yeah, need to pray every day, so that every day to dedicate your practice, even just reciting one mala, mani mantra, dedicate them. It will benefit them, but. So that's all. So now time is over. So thank you very much again for each and every one of you showing the interest to this wonderful teachings. Then thank you very much, Dhamasi and Lamula's reading. Thank you all of you coming in. So I'm sure that you learn history or to practice, like different kind of things. That's good. So. And anybody watching on YouTube, so thank you very much for coming. So they have a wonderful night. So if I'll be around, so see you next Wednesday, but there's no guarantee.
Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may we quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception to that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not finish, but increase more and more. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantapatu too, realizing since they are, I too dedicate all these merits in the best way that may follow the perfect example. We dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised the best by the victorious ones us gone of 3 times so we might perform good works. We dedicate whatever virtues we have ever collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of perfect pure Losangdrapa to shine forever. Now the long life prayers, first for the one for His Holiness. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good, all powerful Chen Reizik Tenzin Gyatso. Please remain until samsara ends. And then J. Cancer Rinpoche Jetsun Losandala, the one who mastered his speech at a very young age, the one with great patience, received the name Awatare, the one with great precision who spread the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa and Bliss and Boy, Lama ornament of the yellow hat tradition. Please remain until samsara ends. And then the one for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as a bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manchuda's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers honoring the 3 jewels, savor of myself and others, your disciples. Please, please live long. And then, of course, for the long, healthy, happy lives of Geshe, Gelek, and Geshe-san. Om Tare Tu Re So Ha. 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 Om Tare Tu Re So Ha.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Geshe.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you, Lamla. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you so much.